Groceries cost more than ever. Everything just feels more expensive in general.
So today I want to share some of my favorite budget homemaking hacks. These are things that have transformed not just our space, but our routines and our whole approach to homemaking.
Let's get into it.
First up, let's talk about cleaning supplies. Budget homemaking hack number one is to simplify them. I used to have a cabinet just stuffed with different sprays and wipes and potions for every single surface. It was so overwhelming, and honestly, it was expensive to keep replacing all of those different cleaners. Now I've simplified everything down to just two essential things, and it's been such a relief. I use dish soap mixed with water in a spray bottle for just general surface washing, and that's it. That's like my general cleaner. And for disinfecting, I just keep rubbing alcohol in another spray bottle, and that's it. Those two bottles handle practically everything in my house, and they cost a tiny fraction of what I used to spend on specific cleaner for every little thing. And think about it, the average household spends around $50 a month on cleaning supplies. When you simplify, you can cut that down so much, and it's a huge win for the budget and for your peace of mind. Now, a little note from the 1950s. Back in the 1950s, ads from the era actually bragged about one cleaner for every purpose. They weren't juggling 10 bottles under the sink, they relied on a few basics, and their homes were just fine. Next, I have to tell you about this meal planning strategy that completely changed my life, and that makes it hack number two, and it's theme weeks. I used to do theme nights, Italian Monday, Mexican Tuesday, Asian Wednesday. It sounds so fun in theory, but I was constantly buying all these different ingredients that would rarely get used. I'd have leftover parsley wilting from Italian night and half a can of tomato paste going bad, cilantro from Mexican night that never got finished, and all these random spices that cost a fortune, and it was such a waste of money and of food. And let's be real, reducing our food waste is one of the biggest money-saving hacks out there for us homemakers. The average American family of four throws out something like $1,600 worth of produce, just produce, every year. In total, it's estimated that 30 to 40% of the food supply in the US is wasted. And that's staggering. So when I decided to try theme weeks instead of theme nights, everything just really clicked into place for me. Instead of switching cuisines every day, I pick one and stick with it for the whole week. It's brilliant because most cultures use the same core ingredients and spices across their recipes. Let me give you an example. During Mexican week, we might have tacos on Monday, then tostadas, bean tostadas on Tuesday, and then we can reuse some of that taco meat on Wednesday in quesadillas or on nachos. On Thursdays, we'll have enchiladas. We're using the same tortillas, beans, meat, cheese, and seasonings all week long, but nothing goes to waste, and I can buy ingredients in larger quantities, which is often cheaper per unit. We rotate through Mexican weeks, Asian weeks, Italian weeks, American comfort food weeks. We'll do grandma's recipes weeks or soup and salad weeks. Not only does this save so much money, but meal prep became an absolute breeze because I'm working with similar ingredients all week, so I can cook a big batch of seasoned ground beef or chicken at the beginning of the week and use it in different ways for days. And it just makes everything so much simpler and so much cheaper. Now, a little side note from the past. Families back in the 1950s didn't expect this huge variety we do now. Meatloaf Monday, tuna casserole Wednesday, Friday fish. It was all about rhythm and predictability, and kids knew what to expect, grocery budget stretched further, and you just have that structure. All right, budget homemaking hack number 3 is putting scraps to use. Now, this might sound a little intense, but I promise you it's one of the most satisfying money-saving habits I've ever developed. I save scraps from absolutely everything, and it's truly amazing how much value you can squeeze out of the things you used to throw away. All my vegetable scraps, onion peels, carrot tops, celery leaves, herb stems, mushroom stems, you name it, go into a big bag in my freezer. I do the same with meat bones and scraps. When the bag gets full, I dump everything into my slow cooker with some water and just let it simmer all day to make the most incredible, rich broth. This broth costs me literally nothing, and it tastes so much better than anything I could buy at the store. It's liquid gold for soups, for risottos, for cooking grains, and it adds so much flavor for free. And here's where it gets really fun. I do the same thing with fruit scraps. Apple cores, citrus peels, berry stems, even banana peels go into another freezer bag. Instead of buying expensive candles or those plug-in air fresheners, I make simmer pots with the fruit scraps. The banana peel I keep separate and boil them and use them to water my plants because it's got a lot of potassium in it. For the simmer pots, I'll toss some apple peels, orange rinds, few whole spices like cinnamon sticks or cloves into a pot of water and let it simmer on the stove, and the smell's absolutely divine. It fills the whole house with the most cozy, inviting scent. And the best part is that when that simmer pot is done, you don't have to throw the water away. Let it cool down, and you've got yourself a gorgeous scented liquid that you can repurpose. You can mix it with a little witch hazel or rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle for a natural room spray. You can add it to your baths, or you can add equal parts vinegar and make an all-purpose cleaner that smells so good. Just remember, with vinegar, it'll wash surfaces, but it won't disinfect, so you'll still need your rubbing alcohol spray for the tough stuff. But overall, it's just this beautiful cycle of using everything and wasting nothing. Now, for our grandmothers and in the 1950s, waste not, want not was a way of life. Bacon grease went into a coffee tin to reuse for cooking, bread heels became breadcrumbs or croutons, and leftovers were never thrown away lightly. Homemakers then were pros at stretching every ingredient to the fullest, especially coming out of the war. Okay, homemaking hack number 4 is finding your one beautiful thing. Let's be real, when money is tight, the regular nails, pedicures, hair appointments, lash fills, spray tans, all of those things just might not be in the budget. I mean, if I'm honest, I've never been very good at prioritizing those things personally, but feeling beautiful and put together doesn't have to be expensive. I've learned it's all about finding that one signature thing that makes you feel like the best version of yourself. For me, sometimes it's a signature lip color that I found at TJ Maxx or Ross for a fraction of the department store price. Or maybe it's taking 10 minutes to use my overnight hair curler so I have effortless waves in the morning. Sometimes it's as simple as learning to style my hair with French pins in an elegant way that looks so put together but just takes seconds. Maybe for you, it's finding a signature perfume. And here's a little secret, you can often buy samples or travel sizes instead of investing in a big full bottle right away. This way you can try different scents without the big commitment and find what truly feels like you. The key is identifying that one little thing that makes you feel confident and beautiful, and then finding those budget-friendly ways to make it happen. Those discount stores like TJ Maxx, Ross, and Marshalls are absolute gold mines for quality beauty products at incredible prices, and I know that totally sounded like an ad just now, but it's actually just because they're my happy place. You could find a signature lipstick, a signature perfume, a signature hairstyle like overnight curls or claw clip look, or even just one quality piece of jewelry, a necklace, some earrings, or a ring that you wear every day. You can find those beautiful jewelry pieces at thrift stores all the time, and it's just about that little touch that makes you feel special. The reason you struggle with keeping your home clean and under control isn't because you're lazy or a bad homemaker, it's actually because most cleaning routines and checklists are designed for brains that don't work like ours. I've been in the exact same position, waking up to yesterday's mess, feeling overwhelmed before the day even started, and thinking I was just bad at homemaking. Because everyone gets stuck in this mindset that if they just find the right checklist or routine, everything will magically fall into place, but they just end up feeling more overwhelmed and defeated when they can't stick to it. So instead of stressing over a long list of tasks, try this. Press play on one of my podcast cleaning routines. Whether it's the Domestic Darling morning routine featuring the nostalgic 1950s Dragnet True Crime radio show, or the evening routine, these audio-guided routines are designed to keep you focused and on track. And they guide you step by step through tasks like airing the beds, tackling laundry, clearing clutter, and even self-care, all in just 30 minutes. It's like having a cleaning coach in your ear, keeping you motivated and distraction-free. So be sure to click the link in the description for that. All right, next up, the budget homemaking hack number 5 is homey touches that cost nothing. Some of my absolute favorite homemaking details are completely free and just take a few extra seconds. These little touches make such a huge difference in how special and cared for your space can feel. So you could try folding your towels into cute little animals or decorative shapes instead of just folding them in thirds. It's like what they do on cruise ships and in fancy hotels, and you can find tutorials on YouTube. You could do this every day if you want, before your kids get home from school or your husband gets home from work, and just put them on the bed waiting for them. You can even add a mint if you want to. Those little pillow mints are actually so inexpensive to buy and can just be a little touch
Because I
of,
can't just
I
like
don't
leave the
know,
house
whimsy into your home.
and get
Another
stuff
one is
done
that
and
you
get
can
out of your
actually
guys'
stamp your
hair,
toilet paper. After you clean the bathroom or do your nightly routine, you can just fold the end into a little triangle and then take like a wet wax seal stamp or wet a rubber stamp, or even just press the corner under the round part of your bathroom faucet. And it creates this lovely little imprint that just feels so luxurious, so hotel-like. It's a tiny detail, but it's one of those things that just, I don't know, it adds a little extra touch. Now, in the 1950s, magazines of the time encouraged what they called hostess touches, which would have been like those things that I just mentioned, or embroidered pillowcases, fresh flowers from the yard, folded napkins. Because even for them then, it was never about big money. It was about the small details that just showed that extra care. Hack number 6 is thrifted storage solutions. Forget those expensive plastic organizers and storage systems. I am completely obsessed with using thrifted baskets for storage all through my house. They add so much warmth and texture and character to any home, and they cost a tiny fraction of what you'd pay for brand new organizers. I know in my thrift stores, baskets cost about like $1 to $3. Now, for one of my favorite parts of budget homemaking, hack number 7 is to create magical traditions. These are the special traditions and little family holidays that don't cost anything but just feel special. These are the moments that become the memories your family will treasure forever. One of our absolute favorites is movie and sleepover night right in our own living room. You can drag all the pillows and blankets downstairs or into your living room and make a massive bowl of popcorn. And I mean, we go overboard with our air popper and kernels, and we actually will add like cheese or garlic. Growing up, we always would drink like strawberry chocolate milk with it. I don't know why, but my husband thinks that's so weird, but that was our little ritual. And we just camp out together watching our favorite movies, and it felt like such an adventure, but we never left the house. And when I was really young, my family had a sleeper sofa, so we would pull out the bed and the sleeper sofa and, put blankets and everything everywhere, and we would watch the movies on that. We also had reading and tea days, and they're exactly what they sound like. We'd brew our favorite tea, gather up our current books, and just spend the day reading in cozy corners around the house. I remember specifically asking to do this for my birthday one day. And sometimes we'll have like an old movie or the movie version of the book we're reading playing softly in the background just for some ambience. And it's just so peaceful and so restorative. And a little budget tea tip, you can grow mint in pots outside. It is so prolific. I wouldn't recommend growing it in the ground because it can actually be really invasive. And then you can just dry it and put the leaves into a little tea basket, and you'll have unlimited peppermint tea. My grandma actually used to do this, and she had this special metal, like little tea brewer, steeper, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. Another tradition we love is the Sunday drive or like a little picnic. It taps into this lovely 1950s tradition where we just pack some sandwiches, find a pretty spot nearby. It doesn't have to be far because, gas is expensive, and we just enjoy being together. There's something about slowing down and appreciating those simple pleasures that feels incredibly luxurious even when it costs almost nothing. So let's move on to hack number 8, granny hobbies. I love my vintage hobbies like knitting, crochet, and sewing, but the supplies can get expensive pretty fast. And when I was first learning and didn't have much of a budget for fabric or yarn, I got really creative with free and cheap alternatives. One of my favorite discoveries was making plarn, and that's plastic yarn made from grocery bags. You just cut the bags into strips and crochet with them like regular yarn. There's specific videos on YouTube on how to do this, and it's surprisingly durable, and it's perfect for making like outdoor mats or beach bags, or just for practice projects when you're learning new stitches and don't want to waste the good stuff. And then I learned to sew by making aprons from old bed sheets or sheets that I found at thrift stores. The fabric was so inexpensive, and if I made a mistake, it didn't matter because I wasn't wasting expensive material. Those early aprons were far, far from perfect, but they taught me so much and gave me the confidence to tackle bigger projects. Rag quilts and patchwork projects are also perfect for using up old clothes, worn out blankets, or jeans that are past their prime. And instead of throwing them away, I can just cut them into squares and piece them together into these cozy quilts and throws. There's just something so satisfying about transforming worn out things into something beautiful and useful again. And our last one, homemaking hack number 9, is decor on a budget. Gallery walls and beautiful art do not have to cost a fortune. One of my favorite budget decorating tricks is hunting through thrift store book sections for beautiful picture books, coffee table books, or vintage books with gorgeous illustrations. I carefully remove the pages with the images I love, and then I frame them against pretty fabric or paper backgrounds. And the whole project, the frames, the thrifted fabric, the books, can usually be sourced entirely from thrift stores. And you end up with completely unique art that reflects your personal style, tells a story, literally if there's like words on the pages still, and it's just so much more interesting than mass-produced prints from a big box store. And every piece has its own character and history, and plus you can change out the images seasonally or whenever you just want a fresh look. Which, a little side note from the 1950s, homemakers often made their decor by hand. They framed calendars, needlework samplers, and even painted furniture were normal, and the artistry was in making things personal, not expensive. So here's what I've really learned through all of this. Creating a home that you absolutely love has everything to do with the intention and the care you put into it, and very, very little to do with how much money you spend. It's about finding joy in the process, being creative with what you have, and celebrating all those small moments that make life beautiful. When you're simmering homemade broth from scraps, or folding towels into sweet little shapes, or snuggling up for a family movie night in your living room fort, you're creating something so precious that no amount of money could ever buy, and you're building a home that is filled with love and creativity and intentionality. Every single one of these practices has brought so much more joy and beauty and coziness into our home, all while keeping our budget happy. And the best part, none of them require perfection or expensive tools, just a willingness to see the potential for magic in all the everyday moments. The love and creativity you pour into it will always be the most beautiful and valuable ingredients of all.
Until next time, keep making those magic memories happen, and be sure to check out the links in the description.